CTV News, Vancouver Island Report.
Good evening. First Nations leaders from Vancouver Island joined others from across the country in Ottawa today, demanding change at a landmark summit with the federal government. They say the Indian Act is outdated and has failed its people and all of Canada. First Nations face chronic poverty, unsafe drinking water, substandard housing, and other problems. And the leaders say it has to change. CTV's Scott Cunningham takes us inside one Vancouver Island reserve for a first-hand look.
As you can see from my environment here, we're dealing with houses, overcrowded houses.
As government leaders talk treaties, First Nation leaders in Nanaimo are talking living conditions.
We still have inadequate housing, inadequate parks, inadequate water.
Walking the streets of the reserve nestled inside Nanaimo city limits, you can see the uphill battle the Nanaimo face. Many homes are covered in mold and clumped together on small lots. Child poverty is rampant, and on one part of the reserve, fresh water is trucked in because the nearby well water could be deadly. The problems mirror ones seen on distant northern reserves, but people are living in these horrific conditions in the middle of an urban center.
Issues aren't simply northern remote issues. They're happening right here in the backyard in Vancouver Island, which is totally wrong. It is not just.
Land is also an issue. A tiny park is the only common green space for a population of more than 1,500. The large community is shoehorned into one of British Columbia's smallest reserves, and cries for more space have fallen on deaf ears.
The land base hasn't changed for us. Our numbers in membership has changed drastically in the past, say, 10 years.
Housing is a major concern here, but one of the most pressing matters on the Nanaimo First Nation is taking back natural resources they say have been stolen from them.
There was a time in the estuary, I remember being a young boy out there, fishing out there where the booms are today.
Ancient fishing grounds are congested with logs. The First Nation says government contracts to mills and processing plants have killed their most valued natural resource, the ocean.
As we stand here, there's industry in front of me, behind me, to the side of me, and both we're cornered, we're boxed in by industry, and from industry, the estuary is basically dead.
Today, First Nation leaders were heard by government officials in Ottawa, but members of the Nanaimo First Nation wonder when they will have a chance to be heard. Scott Cunningham, CTV News, Nanaimo.